Okay, so joining me today on Fan TV, I've got Phantoms head coach Slava Koulikov and Phantoms assistant coach Jason Buckman, and he is also now the head coach of Phantoms too. So, Jason, just firstly, how pleased are you to be back as A, Slava's assistant, and B, as the head coach of Phantoms too?
Hi, Tom. Hope you're well. No, I'm really happy to be back involved alongside Slava. He's not got rid of me yet. He's kept me around for a few years now. So, no, I'm really happy to be back. I'm learning new things every year, and I'm sure that will continue this year under Slava. A little bit different. Obviously, going to be involved with Phantoms 2 as head coach, which I'm pretty excited about. I think that will work really well alongside the involvement with Phantoms 1 and Slava as well. Sharing ideas and seeing the younger guys come up through the junior development into senior hockey in Peterborough.
Okay, and Slava, similar question to you. How pleased are you to have Jason back with you, and also now have him in charge of Phantoms 2 as well?
It's like having another wife, isn't it? 4 years of marriage, 4 years of relationship, bus travel, bench, meetings. So no, I'm very, very pleased. We obviously know each other now for 6-7 years, I think. And overall, in 4 years on the bench, really, really helped me. I think the communication the link between myself to the players, it's been done really good. And I think, obviously, 4 years, getting lots of experience, and hopefully, we'll continue improving and continue working with me, not just next year, but maybe a few more.
Okay, and Jason, obviously, you've worked under Slava as a player and as a coach. So, do you feel like you've learned a lot from him, and other aspects of Slava's coaching style that you're going to be looking to kind of take into your own?
Yeah, of course. I think, as a player, I definitely learned to be a better player playing for Slava. He gave me a hard time at times, quite late in my career, which I didn't really have early in my career. So, I think that put me in good stead going into coaching. I think Slava's achievements speak for themselves. He's a successful coach to be learning from. So I'm quite lucky to be in the position I am. I'm sure, I'll use some aspects and ideas I've learned over the years from Slava, and we'll talk a lot throughout the season, bouncing ideas off of each other. But I think it's a perfect opportunity really with senior team, my own senior team as well, to try my own ideas alongside what I discussed with Slava, and training methods and the way to coach a senior team.
Do you think Phantoms 2 is the ideal kind of level for you to take your first step into a head coach role?
I think so. I think I really enjoy being alongside Slava with Phantoms. It seems a natural progression for me as a coach, working alongside Slava and heading up Phantoms 2. I think I kind of get the best of both worlds. We're looking at building the Phantoms 2 and players into Phantoms 1. So it's a natural progression for the juniors coming out of 18s, and for me to have my involvement with Phantoms 1 and now with Phantoms 2, I think it's a perfect opportunity.
Okay, and you're obviously in an early stage with it at the moment, but have you got an idea of the kind of players you want? Have you been drawing up a little bit of a list of names that you'd like to get into your team?
Yeah, I've obviously visited the list of names with the owners and John Kinniston as well, and spoke with Slava at depth as well. I think it's going to be important for the juniors to know that they have a path of development now coming out of the 18s, and I think it's not just those as well. It's senior players that maybe might be looking for a change or come to Peterborough to get into senior hockey, and they're going to have a stepping stone from Phantoms 2 into Phantoms 1 for their own development as well. And I think if we've got the same methods and the same structure and organisation and professionalism in place, I think that's the right ethos for them to buy into as well when they come to the club.
And Slava, like Jason said just then, it will hopefully produce a clearer pathway for the juniors going through Phantoms 2 and showing them that there is a route to your team as well. How important do you think that is for all the younger guys to see that there is that route there into your team?
Of course, it's important. I think if we just go back to Jason for a bit, I think obviously stepping up for him into a main role as a coach, it's with the experience I think he have and ideas that he have will be good for Phantoms 2. I don't think we should take any credit away from Stevie Johnson, who just retired from coaching, because obviously he won the treble with that team, and he managed to get through junior players through the ranking, and I believe that with Booker ideas and, like you said, talking about the philosophy overall we want to have between the juniors and the farm team and the first team, I think Booker will make it very successful, and I think leading to your question about Phantoms 2 and juniors, I guess it's how you measure your success. We say Stevie Johnson won a few trophies with Phantoms 2, but the philosophy we want to have here, it's a little bit different. We want to measure success in the production of British talent through homegrown players, and I think that is the ultimate success between the junior club and the affiliation team, which is Phantoms 2, and eventually pressure on me to develop those players. So we just want to make sure that we don't lose out on players at a certain age. They maybe lose a little bit of interest if there is no connection. We want to make sure that they have that chance and they achieve their goals. We proved in the last 4 or 5 years, we worked with some players that, even that probably outside of, England conferences and things like that, because you got to pay attention to the late developers as well. So I think, yes, overall, Jason's the right guy for a job. I think if we measure our success a little bit differently compared to the last 3, 4, 5 years, we'll make it successful in a different way that will please mainly junior players, local junior players.
Okay, and just finally going back to Jason, what would you class as a good first season in your new role of head coach of Phantoms 2?
Of course, any player or coach involved in senior hockey, they want to win games, they want to win trophies. That's a given. Certainly for me, I think, I have a competitive edge. I always have done and always will do. And I think, I hope players that are involved with Phantoms, any Phantom setup, have that competitive and that hunger and desire to, win games and win things. But as Slava said, I think, it is important to remember Phantoms 2, has to be a starting point for juniors coming into senior hockey in Peterborough. Is success measured by wins and trophies, or is it measured by, the development of those players? And I think it covers all of it. It is a starting point for juniors coming up, and it's a stepping stone for their development into senior hockey. And like Slava said, I think if we can have that organisation, that professionalism in place for that development, I think it's it's a perfect stepping stone for those players coming up.
Okay, thank you to you both for joining me. Slava, have you got something to say?
Yeah, I think, it's something else to add. What Booker said, success you can measure in different ways. What we're looking at, I think in the last couple of years, I paid a little bit more attention to development throughout the world, and not just hockey. You look through the big nations in different sports, and you read how they set their programs up. And the one that really caught my eye is Belgium golden generation in football. They are one of the smallest nations in Europe, and amount of top end players they produce. On the top of having, good coaches, having the right way of preparations and growing those players. I think what hit me, because they knew they're a small nation, they kind of split a year of birth into 2 halves, because they believe the second part, it was statistics about the players that been born in the first part of the year that got through to the first teams and obviously national teams compared to the players who was born in a second part of the year. And there was a huge difference, and that's where they really pay attention to. So it's I'm not saying it's a similar model, because it's totally different from the point of practices and how often we practice, and the year groups is not what each year. But I think what we really need to pay attention is the players that not superstars, like we know we produced, Peterborough produced people like Clarkey, Hookie, Luke Ferreira, and just to name a few of them. I think what the aim is, those are the talented kids that been, gifted the talent, worked hard. Obviously, junior development helped, and obviously they took the right steps towards being where they are right now. But there is a second wave of players that really don't get overlooked, don't really been given a chance, and that's the one we really want to give a chance to progress. And like I said, it's not just about being born in the second part of the year, it's about making sure that if in the last year or two playing on the 16, 18, 19 juniors, you maybe not your top end guy with scoring a lot of goals or being excellent goaltending, or a really standout D, for example, like Brad. He almost jumped over the Phantoms 2 and came straight into the Phantoms 1. Those are easy guys to work with. Those are the ones that, the coaches in junior rely, and obviously when they progress, everybody look at them, everybody call their names. I think what we're looking at, it's getting a few more guys like Ross Clark, those guys that, Whitey in a way, the guys that not really looked at as a conference players, or, GB 18s, and really give them that chance to shine at the late development. And I think that's what, on the top of other ideas we have, we really want to concentrate on, and hopefully that way we don't miss on some hidden talents. So that's the only thing I wanted to add towards this interview.
Okay, thank you both for joining me today. Best of luck to both of you for next season with Phantoms 1, and Jason, we'll see very best of luck as well with the new role at Phantoms 2.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you, Tom.